Oh, how I've missed you since you went away. You're looking well, or go to hell. Just might be what I say. Yep, used to sing just a little bit. That's why I'm a better fisherman. I keep my day job. Now that was in my head right there. I don't know why I wanted to just open this one up with that, but I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide. Tired, delirious because it's awfully hot now on the water. But things are great. Everything's really good. I apologize that I didn't give you a rundown earlier this week. If you've been following, I'm now taking Sundays and Mondays off. So I'm only going 5 days a week instead of 6. That's because of the heat. I need more recovery time. And then this last Monday was a pretty tough day. I discovered that my stepmother has gone into the hospital with a enlarged heart and pneumonia. She's 93 years old. So if you could ask, if I could ask anything of you guys, other than just the support following, if you could lift her up in prayer right now, at least for comfort. She's 93. And both her and my father, I had to schedule pass a trip on Tuesday. And so long story short, that's why here it is Thursday, and I'm now going to give you a Lake Fork rundown. So 93 is really good life, and she's a beautiful lady, but lift Gloria up in your thoughts and prayers, and I thank you for that. So let's get a rundown in now. As I said, man, things are really good. Life, the rain comes on all of us, just and unjust. Fishing goes up and down too. Everything in life is just a cycle, and you learn to accept it. Move on sometimes, and also be very grateful and enjoy. So right now, the lake is pretty stable overall. I'm trying to keep myself together here, but overall, as of Monday, we were 403.08. We're almost to the full pool point. We're dropping extremely slow, as we've talked before, mostly rate of flow, which is coming out of one little pipe, and a little bit of municipal now. So you can see sometimes it'll jump a little more rapid. But we've just now, as of today, basically at 402.99, which is full pool. We're back to normal. We've been high pool for quite some time. Water clarity is awesome. 1 to 3 foot. In the main lake now, any of the backwater and stuff can be very different. Maybe more clear, maybe less clear. I'm noticing some areas are kind of already turning brown, and that's due to last week's raw heat with no wind. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And you'll get some Lake Fork green throughout the summer. And then when it gets stagnant and starts not really turn over, but you get a lot of those gases that rise, and you just get a bunch of junk and stagnant water can turn kind of brownish. It doesn't look so good, but you still catch them in it. So 1 to 3 foot is your visibility. Here's what's happened. Last week, all 5 days, there was hardly any wind. And if you look in the archives, you'll see that the temperature of the water was 88 in the morning and 91, even 93 by the afternoon. Now remember, that's just the surface temperature, the first 18 inches, which each night cools down and blends into the lake. Okay, but with no wind last week, man, it really escalated. Then Monday, Tuesday, into Tuesday, we had a cold front. Okay, and that cold front itself wasn't enough to knock all this temperature out, but we dropped as of Wednesday to 81.3 and 83.5. Today, 81.7, 84. How do we go from 89, 90 degree surface temperature to this? Well, the cold front and wind. The wind allows the lake to churn, and that blends everything. It blends the upper water column, the lower water column. And so what this tells me is that the deeper water is still very, very cool. It's no wonder everything is so late. It's no wonder these fish are showing up offshore now in late June like they would have in early May. So some of these places that I'm finding these fish now, it's just like it's May. We caught one of the fish today just dripping blood out his tail like it just came off the spawn, post-spawn. So extremely strange year still, but your water temperature parameter as of today, 81.7 to 84. Perfect south wind, strong south wind today, and boy, did we catch them. The numbers are really good. I think we landed 16 or 17. We lost 3 or 4. No big fish today. The best fish today was a 4 or 5, right in that range. But a lot of just beautiful, healthy, young slot bass that soon will will be Lake Fork specials. But let me elaborate now and tell you a little bit about what's going on. You know I'm throwing a football jig. You know I'm throwing the sand tone shaky head, stand-up football shaky head. You also know I'm throwing the Texas rig. All right. We talked about the worms. We talked about the power worm and the trick worm. The power worm has a curled tail or a ribbon tail. The trick worm, no tail. Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is that it's the no tail bite. They're not eating, at least for me, I'm not getting bit as much, 1 to 10, on the ribbon type tail worms. If I go to straight worms, and I can go real big even, and catch small fish on real big worms, it's crazy. But it's the do nothing tails. So that the Magnum trick worm seems to be the best. There's a lot of different versions you can get out there. And I think the Magnum Zoom, that's the biggest you can get. But just remember, for me right now, the best bite is the shaky head with a Magnum trick worm or the Texas rig with a Magnum trick worm. No tail, okay? I'm saying this because I've even talked before about the Zoom, Magnum speed worm. That's got a tail on it. They really just don't want. They want that real subtle action. The jig. I'm not catching fish on the jig. I can't believe it. I'm speculating here, but maybe there's something to do with that cold in February that changed the crawfish and the crawfish patterns. For whatever reason, most of the time a jig is emulating crawfish. But for me in the post spawn, I use the Pake's perch and I imitate brim. And I'm still not getting the bites, near as many bites on the jig as I do on the Magnum trick worm. So the Magnum trick worm now in 2 ways. First, I'm going to tell you the shaky head. Okay, I'm using the shaky head in areas that does not have a lot of timber. I'm looking more for the shell beds, the hard bottoms, the road beds, anywhere that's a little less timber. I'm going to use the sand tone, stand up football piglet shaky head. This is a 5/16 ounce. It's just a little over a quarter, but the Magnum trick worm on it, 2 colors, watermelon candy. And believe me, the people on the boat today really got to see the truth about the red. All right, father and son today fishing. Son had red once that sun came out. Dad did not. Early in the morning, I had them both with the regular watermelon candy. Well, I changed the son and I didn't change the dad. And I told him, when the boy catches 3 up on you, we'll get you changed too. That's just what happened. So watermelon red, when the sun's shining, today was pure testimony. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to go ahead and tell you everything about the rod to reel. This is all going to be the same, but it's my signature rod from Real Time Rods. Call up Louie and tell him you want McFARLAND'S jig rod. All right, I use that for the shaky head and the jig. Okay, I use a little bit different rod for the Texas rig worm, but it's an MB. M as in Mike, B as in boy, 7'3", and it's a 15/30 power. 30. Okay, so 15 pound, 30 pound. That means it's a 6 power rod basically. I really love it. I put 20 pound fluorocarbon. I usually run a high speed gear ratio, Tatula 100 or 150. I want a 7/3 gear ratio or more. This one's an 8/1. When I set the hook, I bring them fish up and I bring them home. We don't play. We don't fight for it. We bring them home. The longer we play and fight that fish, especially them big ones, the more they're going to end up somewhere wrapping us up on something, even the engine or underneath. They're smart. Okay, so high speed gear ratio, powerful rod, 20 pound fluorocarbon line. Don't mess around. I run the exact same thing on the Texas rig, but the rod's a little lighter. And the reason is, and I just want a little more. I tend to run the Texas rig as light as I can go. And the reason is, this Texas rig is going to get thrown in the nasty football jig, football shaky head, in the shell, the cleans, generally areas. Texas rig in the trees, the tall timber, the brush piles, the nasty. The nastier, the better. All right, right now, that's really where the best place is. All right, so Texas rig is generally going to be same exact line, same reel, but a 1225, an MB, 7'3", 1225. Real Time Rods. Okay, that's the make. Real Time Rods. I'm all over the place. I'm really tired. And it's so hot. It's amazing how we went from all that weather wearing hoodies to just instantly in summer. But anyways, I tend to go as light as I can, unless it's real windy. anywhere from a 1/4 ounce on the slip sinker to a 1/2 ounce. This is a 1/2 ounce today. It was pretty windy today, so we needed it to cast. We needed it to feel the bait. Most important thing with that weight is if you're not feeling it, you got to keep adding weight until you feel it. We're going to throw this past the trees. Right now it's in about 10 to 20 feet of water, the trees you want, points, offshore structure, and things like that. Throw it past the trees and learn how to mooch it through them. Mooching it means that I'm going to kind of come up to the tree and I'm going to climb it a little, let it come back down, climb it a little. I can't just pull it through or we get stuck over and over and over again. We learn how to mooch it and it'll come in the tree. In other words, it's forward 1, backwards 2, forward 2, backwards 1. We're coaxing it through the junk without pulling it through the junk. All right, it's a real finesse art. But that's what gets the bite. I'm teaching you this not because you're going to get snagged less. You get good at it, you'll get snagged less, but you'll catch more fish and bigger ones. Learn how to mooch it through, in and out of the junk. Don't get stuck in the junk all the time. All right, once you get really good, what I'm talking about, you're still going to get stuck every now and then. It's just how it is. Doesn't matter. All right. Realistically, those 2 ways are the best way. Now remember this. The shell bed areas are feeding tables, like a deer feeder. They generally, the shell itself is going to be a high plankton source, which the shad come feed on, which the bass come raid the shad. This makes this location, these locations, timing. Most of the time, you either need to already know that, camp on the spot to learn it, whatever. But when they come feed on the right shell bed, being there is amazing because they are there to eat. When you go to the Texas rig and you start throwing in the trees, that's the home. That's the bedroom. Now it's not about feeding, it's about territory. And you want to make sure that you go really, really slow, really, really thorough. And what I'm teaching you now is important. When you're in the bedrooms and you start feeling that bait contact the wood and contact the trees, that's the reason to stop. Let it soak. Let it marinate in those places. When you feel it come halfway up to the tree, stop. Let it sit there for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. If you know they're in the tree, they're going to get mad at it, and now you're going to get your territorial bite. All right? That's my best tip I can tell you right now. All right, I fished 5 spots today, and we could have landed over 20 fish. Had 20 fish on. I think it was 16 or 17 in the boat. It was a really fun day, and that's it. All right? That's my rundown for June 24th. I appreciate you all watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'm giving you some more meat and potatoes because when we get to January next year, 2 things are going to happen. I'm going to be giving 2 different rundowns. One's going to be a public rundown, and one's going to be a private rundown. This is what the private rundown tastes like. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike McFarland. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Find me on Instagram, The Lake Fork Guide. Find me on Facebook, Lake Fork Adventures Guide Service. God bless y'all. Have a great evening, and good luck fishing. Thanks for watching.